Hi guys, my name is Abidemi Sanusi, and in this video I'm going to share with you how to stay consistent when you don't feel inspired to write. So I'm going to talk you through the reasons why you may feel uninspired. I'm going to talk to you and share with you some key tips that's going to get you from inspiration and give you the motivation to write and also be productive. And then also I'm going to share with you how to basically write every single day and develop a writing practice that's going to essentially help you through your journey as a Christian and as a writer. So let's get to it. My name is Abidemi Sanusi. I'm an author. I've written 10 books to date. I'm working on my 11th book. I write Christian books as Live I Read. I also write books for the general commercial. I write women's fiction for the commercial market, the non-Christian market, under my real name. I'm also the founder of Christian Writer, and you may have seen me mentioned on Guardian, Forbes, YouVersion, where I have my devotionals for writers. And you may also have seen me, I think I said on Forbes or Reuters and the Guardian and the BBC. So let's get to it. How to stay consistent when you do not feel inspired. And also, I forgot to mention, if you would like to sign up for weekly devotionals, you can just basically hit the link to the Christian Writer website and just sign up for weekly devotionals to be sent out to you. They're sent out every Sunday and they're meant to inspire you and motivate you as a Christian writer. So let's get to it. How to stay consistent if you don't feel inspired. So one of the challenges, and I get this question all the time from people who are essentially new to writing, and it's always this. Sometimes they feel like a fraud if because they think to themselves, I don't feel inspired to write. So if I'm not inspired to write, then I shouldn't write because then it doesn't feel authentic. And my answer to that is, if you ever wait to feel inspired to do anything in life, because we are practical Christians, we have our head, God has given us common sense, and that's what we're going to use. And that's what people find surprising about this writing journey. Because I think the expectation and the myth is like everything is just about all this creativity, all this energy, and sometimes that's great, but sometimes what I also find that it really gets in the way of people doing good work, which is essentially to write the book, because they're so caught up in this myth and this romance, this romance of being a writer, or what that looks like in real life. And what being a writer looks like in real life is you write whether or not you feel like writing. Okay, you write whether or not you feel like writing. As you grow in your career as a writer and as an author, you come to the realization that it really is not about inspiration. You come to the realization that inspiration comes when you write. I kind of liken it to when you first become a Christian and you don't know much about prayer. And because I know for a lot of new Christians, when they start, they always have this thing of, well, if I don't feel like praying and I pray, isn't that kind of disingenuous? It feels a bit false and it feels a bit fake. But as you grow in your Christian faith, you realize that prayer is actually your time of connecting with God, is your way of building your relationship with God, and it's also your way of building up yourself. And being a writer, to be honest with you, it's no different. If you only write when you feel like writing, trust me, you will never write anything. And also, it just means that your whole kind of writing is just based on your emotions, your feelings. And that's not always useful, because it just means that you're ruled by your emotions all the time. And that's not what you want. You need a clear head and you need the discipline, okay, to build the writing practice. The other thing when it comes to how to staying consistent when you don't feel inspired to write is, sometimes when people come to me and they say, Abidemi, I really just don't feel inspired to write, inspiration is not coming. And when I probe a bit further, I realize that actually the waiting for inspiration bit actually is just procrastination in disguise. Because if you tell yourself you're waiting for inspiration and it's been a year, it's been 6 months, it's been 2, 3 years, and you're still waiting for inspiration, you're waiting for this moment when lightning is going to hit you and you're going to feel inspired and you're going to go out and you're going to do that writing, you're going to get that book done in 60 hours. But the fact of the matter is, life is not like that. A lot of the time, Okay, I've given the example of prayer. I want to give another example, which will basically just bring this to life a bit more as well. This thing about doing things when only you feel like it, when you only feel like it, it just really doesn't serve you. And I think it doesn't serve you. It doesn't serve anybody in life. Okay, you may not feel like going to work, but that doesn't. But you have to go into work. Okay, and another example I want to share with you guys, is the one about exercise. When you first start out, if you're somebody that likes to work out, when you first started out, you didn't always feel like working out, but you understood that it was good for you. And maybe you started and stopped because you didn't feel like it, so you didn't do it. But at some point, actually, at some point, you realize that it really didn't matter whether or not you felt like working out. You just do it anyway because it's good for you and you know you will reap the benefits after. And your writing is just the same. If you're waiting to be inspired before you write or do anything to do with your writing, you're going to wait a long time and you're going to find yourself, just like it says in the Bible, like one of those people just buffeted by the winds of life, by emotions, constantly going up and down, and not really going anywhere. So what I want to do when you're listening to this, I'm not accusing you, and this video is not meant to shame you or make you feel bad about yourself. I'm trying to give you practical tips that's basically going to help you and sustain you all the way through your writing life. So here's what we are going to do. I want you to really, really think about your writing. If you believe that God has called you to do this, or maybe you have a passion for it, I would like you just to really think about why you want to write. Is it because you feel like you've been called to do it? Is it because you have a story to tell? And the reason I mention this is because the why is really, really important. I say to people, if you treat your writing as a hobby, that's all it will ever be to you, a hobby. It's going to be a hobby. But if you treat it as a ministry or a business, or however much you want to position it, then you will treat it as a ministry or a business. You will do all the work that is necessary, okay, for it to be a ministry or a business. But if it's a hobby, what I found out with hobbies is there's no kind of real urgency when it comes to hobbies. Like, when it comes to hobbies, it's a passion, it's a hobby, but you're not really doing anything that's based, there's no urgency. So it can be a hobby, something that you write, oh, look, it's my hobby, I've written some poems, I've written this, but there's no kind of urgency to basically, there's no kind of urgency. You're just doing things and putting bits and bobs together, but it's not really going to come out into something kind of concrete. But if you treat it like a ministry, because I know some of you are called to be writers and, be it a ministry, but if you treat it like a ministry, you will do all that is within your power to make it succeed as a ministry. You will partner with the Holy Spirit, okay? If you don't feel the inspiration, your mindset is very much like, Lord, I'm not feeling inspired right now. I don't feel like doing this. I don't want to write, but I know that you've called me to do this. I know that you want me to do this. And I want to do well. So I want to ask you just to help me, essentially. Okay, you say that little prayer and you just have at the writing, whether or not you feel like it, because you've said the prayer, you've asked God to help you. If you think about it as a business, then and it's okay, you can have, your writing can be a ministry as a business. There's no ifs and buts, there's no best way or all around this stuff. If you think about it as your in terms of your writing, if you think about it as a business, you will do things that normal business people would do. You will network, okay? You will reach out to people. You will join a community of writers. You will have your commercial head on. You will want to market yourself. And by the way, if you're thinking of the writing as a ministry, you can do all those things as well. It's okay, it's okay to want to share your work with people, and it's okay to to want to profit from the work of your hands. It can be both. Do you know what I mean? It can be, the writing can be a ministry, it can be a business, and it can be both. I'm not saying either or. Do you know what I mean? So that's that. So in terms of the writing discipline, it's really, really important for you to build a writing practice. And a writing practice is one that will essentially sustain you and keep you motivated and accountable. And the best way to have a writing practice is just by doing this one thing. And I'm going to share with you, okay? I'm going to share with you what that thing is. If you want to be consistent as a writer, if you want to write when you do not feel inspired, if you've been waiting for the lightning bolt moment or the Red Sea parting and saying, hey, right now, this one tip is going to help you, okay? And it's going to help you through your writing life. It's going to help you build a writing practice. And this is the one tip that I would give you, okay? If you're struggling to stay consistent because you don't want to write when you feel inspired, set aside 5 minutes a day, every day, just 5 minutes, 5 minutes a day, 5 minutes a day, and just work on your book, your devotional, or whatever it is that you're working on. Set a timer on your cell phone and just time yourself for 5 minutes. You don't need anything fancy. Because I always say to people, we unintentionally or unconsciously, we procrastinate and we delay. When we know we need to do something, then we start doing stuff or waiting for things that don't really matter. So another thing I want to talk about when it comes to this is, so maybe you said to yourself, Abidemi, okay, this sounds fantastic. You're right. I'm going to set aside 5 minutes, but I don't have writing software. Delay tactic. I will say to you, if you're just starting out on this journey, especially if you're writing a book, it's your first book, you don't need writing software. Use Google Doc, okay, or use the Word application on your, I don't know, I don't use Word, so I don't know what that is. I mean, my preferred writing software, so to speak, is Google Doc. It's got me through 10 books. I use it. I'm working on my 11th book now, and it served me very well. So, again, don't fixate on things that don't really matter. Okay. When I was working on one of my earlier books, I remember I just basically just used to type in stuff in my cell phone. And especially when you use Google Docs, it syncs with your cell phone onto your laptop, or because it's stored in the cloud. So it doesn't matter if you write on your cell phone, it's going to sync up. But when you get home and you fire up your laptop or your tablet, everything is going to sync. What I'm saying is, don't fixate and hold on to things that don't matter, okay? So my tip is set aside 5 minutes. 5 minutes every day. Just 5 minutes. Maybe use public transport, maybe on the train on your way to work, or on the bus on the way to work. Just write for 5 minutes on your cell phone. It's okay. It doesn't have to be, what we want to do. You want to get into the habit and discipline of being a writer. And I think 5 minutes, just sit there, get it done, and it's just out of the way. And tomorrow is another 5 minutes. And don't overthink it when you're doing that writing. That's another thing, okay? Don't overthink it when you're doing the writing. Don't edit, don't think it. Just essentially write what you need to write in that 5 minutes, and then tomorrow pick up from where you left off. And before you know it, in like 3-6 months, you will have a fully fledged book, if a book is what you want to write. So, how to stay consistent if you don't feel inspired? Number one, I would say to you, I said it before, inspiration comes when you're writing. And I think you know this for yourself, actually. I should have mentioned this before. Inspiration comes when you're writing. Again, just to use that example that I gave you guys just a few minutes ago, when you don't feel like working out and you eventually start working out, you start feeling good about yourself. You're like, yeah, I'm going to do this again tomorrow. And instead of just doing it for like 10 minutes, I'm going to extend it to 15 minutes. The writing is like that. It's amazing what happens when you actually get started, because then you start looking at things and you're like, wow, this is amazing. That's inspiration hitting you when you're writing. And what you'll find is, you spend 5 minutes a day writing. Try that for 3-4 days. And I guarantee you by the 5th day, you want to extend your writing time naturally. You find yourself, okay, I know I said 5 minutes, but actually I can do this for 7 minutes or 10 minutes at a time. So that's how you stay consistent and you write when you do not feel inspired. Let me know if you found this helpful. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and don't forget to sign up for the Christian Writers Devotional. And you can see the link down there, and you sign up for it and you get a devotional in your inbox every single Sunday without fail. God bless you.